everyone. In this video, I'm going to walk you through setting up the team booking feature for Simply Schedule appointments. So to get started, I'm going to walk you through this digital agency mockup site that I have set up and show you the different places that I want to put my team booking calendars. First of all, I want to add a calendar to this contact page. I have this open space for it where it says book a time with us, and I want to add in a free consultation calendar where the incoming appointments are randomly assigned to the staff and whoever is available can accept those. I also want to add in booking calendars to this Our Team page. If you scroll down, I have a section where I want to add in the booking calendars to book specific services with the different team members. So here I have Anthony and I have Emily. To get started, let's go back to the WordPress dashboard, head over to our appointments page, and I'm starting with the plugin from scratch, so we get to walk through this entire process together. Right now I have the setup wizard prompting me if I need help or if I just want to go ahead and get started. In this case, I think I'll just go ahead and get started. I don't necessarily want to walk through every single setting in this plugin. I just want to focus on the team booking feature and how you would go ahead and set this up. To get started, here I am on the Simply Schedule Appointments dashboard. The first thing I want to show you is that I don't have any appointment types yet, so I'm going to go ahead and set those up here in a second. But first thing I want to do is set up my team. So I'm going to head over to the settings tab, scroll all the way to the very bottom, and some things to know, I already have the Google Calendar settings set up, and I already have my Stripe payments set up, and it's in test mode. Anyway, so going over to this team settings card, I'm going to toggle it on, and I'm going to go ahead and click edit. Right now I don't have anybody added, so let's walk through adding both a team member that already has a WordPress account and one that doesn't and is only going to exist here in the plugin. First thing I'm going to do is click add new team member. I'm going to add in the team member email address. First, I'm going to start with the person who already has a WordPress account with this specific website. So I'm going to type in Emily, and her email is actually going to pop up here for me to select, and I'm going to click create team member. So now that I have Emily entered into the plugin, you'll see that her WordPress user, it's already importing her information. For example, here it says WordPress user. It pulled in her display name. Of course, you can modify this to display differently for the appointments, and then it locks in her email address here. On this specific contact page, you will also see the option, can this user log in and manage their own appointments? If you check this box, it's going to automatically apply the exclusive team member role that comes with the Simply Schedule Appointments plugin. This is a WordPress role customized so that when a user logs in to their WordPress dashboard, they will be able to access and manage a few of their settings for Simply Schedule Appointments. In this case, I do want Emily to log in, so I'm going to go ahead and click this check, and then I'm going to go ahead and save that for her. So one thing to note from here on this team listing page, you'll see that Emily has the little WP next to her name showing that she is a WordPress user. But anyway, let's go ahead and go back. So now we'll have this little can this user log in and manage their appointments checkbox locked in, so we can't take it away from here anymore. And then let's review a few of the different tabs here. So here it says permissions, we have availability, and then we have web meetings. From the permissions tab, you'll have the option to allow the team member to manage their own working hours. They can connect to their Google Calendar, and then we also have the option to add blackout dates. So let me actually go ahead and add that in. If I go to settings, I have blackout dates currently toggled off. So if we go ahead and turn that on, then when we go back to our team member settings, go back to Emily's profile, go under the permissions tab. So now we should enable the blackout dates. So at the time of making this video, these are the only 3 permissions that we have currently built into the team profiles. Later down the line, we may add more, but these are the 3 that we have. So blackout dates, I'm going to go ahead and check off, and then their own working hours. I'm going to go ahead and click save, and we'll head back to the availability. Just double check that our permissions are saved, and then our availability here. I do have the warning, you don't have any appointment types set up yet, but we'll get to those here in a second. Right now, she is assigned to all appointment types just by default. You'll see here that we have the blackout dates section. So if we click on that, we can leave without saving. And if you notice closely here at the very top, it says blackout dates Emily. You have the option as an admin to target business-wide blackout dates or blackout dates just dedicated to Emily. So if she happens to go on vacation, you can select those days from here. Anyway, let's go ahead and go back and head over to the availability. We also have working hours. You can either use the default working hours that are set on the appointment type level, have Emily input her hours manually from here. Just one thing to keep in mind, that these working hours are in the business's time zone. So you'll see that this is currently set to America, Chicago. So if this team member is in a different time zone, you'll need to make sure and put in a few extra calculations just to make sure that it is in their time zone. And then lastly, down here, we have the Google Calendar section. So the way that the Google Calendar integration works with the team booking settings is that by default, automatically Google Calendar, if you have it set up on the administrator or plugin level, and Google Calendar settings are set in the appointment types as well, Emily and her email address will automatically be invited to all the events generated for those appointments. Even without syncing to Google Calendar just yet, even without really logging into Google Calendar through Emily's account, those Google events, she'll automatically see them and she'll already get invited to them. This Google Calendar connection is only meant for checking their calendars for conflicts. So they have to log in order to get those permissions so that we can look in and double check their Google Calendar availability to make sure they're available for the time slots we present on the website. Moving on, going to the web meetings tab, if your appointment types are going to be virtual, please make sure to enter their personal Zoom rooms or personal meeting rooms. That way their bookings can automatically be assigned their Zoom links. I'm going to go ahead and save. Alrighty, so now that we have Emily set up, I'm going to go ahead and add in Anthony, and he is not a WordPress user yet, so I'm just going to show you what that looks like when there is no WordPress user assigned. I'm going to create this team member, and if you remembered previously with Emily's profile, her name is automatically filled in. In this case, since there is no WordPress user to reference, we have to manually enter their name. Alrighty, so I filled in their name and then the display name, and then lastly I have the option to give them the opportunity to log in and manage their own appointments. So the difference between Emily's profile, which was already a WordPress user, and Anthony's is that if I select this, it's going to automatically create a WordPress user for Anthony and apply the team member role. I'm not going to click this just yet. I just want to walk you through this type of profile before we go ahead and select this option. So I'm going to go ahead and click save, go back into Anthony's profile. If we go into the permissions tab, you'll notice we can't give them any of those specific permissions that we gave Emily just because they can't log in, so there's nothing to permit them to do in the first place. So here it's going to give us a message, this team member is not a WordPress user, and it also gives you the option to add a new WordPress user. The availability tab, we have the appointment types again, you can manage which ones are assigned to them from here. We have the blackout dates again. Of course, Anthony can't log in and manage these himself, but the admin is still able to go in and select the blackout dates for Anthony. Lastly, here at the bottom, we have the same option to set custom working hours. Again, the admin will need to set these for Anthony if he does not have a WordPress account to log in to the site with. And lastly, we have the web meeting. All right, and we're going to go ahead and select save. So you can see here, Anthony does not have a WordPress user just because we know that the WP is not next to his name. But let's go ahead and head to the WordPress users dashboard just so that you can see the difference. So here we have users, and here we have our admin account, but here is Emily's account. So if we go ahead and select edit, and then if we scroll all the way to the very bottom where the user roles are applied, you can see that she already has a team member role assigned to her. So now if we go back to the appointments tab, go to Anthony's profile and select that option for him to log in, and then select save. Now you'll see the little WP is next to his name, and if we head back to the WordPress users page, we'll see that he's been added here as well. So Anthony is added, his email is in place, and lastly his role is set to team member. So if we click edit, scroll to the very bottom again, you'll see he's a team member. Going back to the appointments page, alrighty, so now that we have our team members set up, the next thing we want to do is set up the appointment types that will go along with these team members. If you already have an existing appointment types set, you can always go in and edit the team members that are assigned to each one. But in this case, I'm just going to start from scratch. To get started, I'm first going to create the booking calendar that goes here on my contact page. So here in this space, I'm going to create a calendar that automatically and randomly assigns one of my team members just depending on who's available. So I'm going to create my first appointment type, and just a quick note, an appointment type is just a booking calendar and all the settings that go with it. So here I have consultation phone call. I'm going to modify this just a little bit and just name it free consultation. I do want to leave it at 20 minutes. And then I want to leave the booking view as weekly. And I do want to begin using this label feature here. So here I have it set to default. I'm going to go ahead and quickly add the labels for Anthony and for Emily. And I'll show you how we're going to use these later on. So I have 3 labels, one for default, one for Emily, one for Anthony. In this case, this is just a default calendar. It's not necessarily assigned to either one of them. So just to set myself off on the right foot, I went ahead and made those labels. Anyway, we have instructions. Alrighty, so now we have our availability, and for this I'm going to leave everything as a default, and what I really want to focus on here is the team members tab. So the team members tab, we have a few different options. One is to leave this appointment type with no team members, so no bookings are assigned to these profiles. We have the option to assign it to any one of the ones that we've selected. So if I click the any option, we'll have checkboxes representing each one of the team profiles, and it's going to randomly assign to any single one of those team members. So in this case, I want to select both Emily and Anthony, and this is our random assignment. So anytime a booking comes in, it's going to check Emily and Anthony's schedule and see which one's available. And if both are available, then we'll randomly assign. We also have this all option. So if I select all, same thing, it's going to show me a few checkboxes, but the assignment for this is different. So this one is going to require that all of our selected team members are available in order to display a time slot or to allow a person to book these team members. So again, both of them are required, whereas in the any one, only one is required and only one is selected. I'm going to go ahead and select any and have them both selected. Next, we have capacity. Since we only want one person to book per team member, we want to leave this as is. We have scheduling options that let you tailor the booking calendar a little further. For example, since these are virtual calls, virtual meetings that I want anyone across the country or the world to book, I want to leave this as localized as opposed to locked, so the user can see the time slots based on their time zone. We also have appointment buffers to give a bit of padding in between the different bookings. So in this case, I'm going to just give them a padding of 10 minutes. And then a notice required. This is to help prevent any last minute bookings. In this case, it's requiring at least 24 hours or 1 day before someone can book a time slot. So here's 1 day. I'm going to change this to 8 hours instead. And then you can also limit how many of these you can receive in a day. Of course, this is going to be shared between the 2 team members, so just keep that in mind. Next, we have the payments. This is a free consultation call, so I'm going to leave this as no payment required. And then in the Google Calendar settings, I'm going to sync these to the main general Google Calendar, and I'm going to have this invite the customer to the event box checked. And keep in mind that any conflicts checked on this appointment type level are going to apply to both team members. If you check for conflicts on the team member profile level, it will only apply to the individual team members. And another thing too, just to reiterate from earlier, right now I have it syncing to this ssa.simplyfoxy@gmail.com main Google Calendar, but by default, it's going to automatically send invites to all the team members assigned without even logging in to Google or making that connection to Google on the team profile level. It's going to automatically have them synced up as well. Alrighty, so next we have web meetings. We are using the team member web meeting URL, so I want to make sure that's selected. And you also have the option to set a default, just in case the team members don't have one assigned. In this case, I already have both of them set up with theirs, but just for the sake of setting this up. And I'm going to go ahead and quickly show you the customer information. Right now it's just the name and email, and then we have the notifications, and this is just a list of all the ones that have already been created. Now that I've finished going through all my tabs, I want to go ahead and click save, and I have my first calendar set up. So here's my free consultation. This is going to randomly assign to any available team member. Now I want to set up the appointment types where we're booking directly with the team members and booking directly with their services. Let's go ahead and get those set up. Again, the label is just for organizational purposes, but we're going to use this to help us embed the booking calendars here in a moment. And just want to take a moment to walk you through the team member assignment again. Just to give you a little background, I'm planning to set this to only assign bookings to Emily. I'm going to select any and only have Emily selected here. So any new bookings made with this specific calendar, I want them to automatically be assigned to Emily. Alrighty, so next, this is going to be a paid appointment. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip to the payments tab. I'm going to make it required and set this to $100. And I have my little stripe selected. And lastly, I want to make sure that Google Calendar is set up and web meetings is used to route to the team member. Alrighty, so I'm going to leave the customer information as is, since this is just a demo, and I'm going to go ahead and click save. So here we are. Now I want to go ahead and just clone this since we have another appointment type that I want to set up just for Emily. And everything is set up since we cloned it. So go ahead and save that. So now we have two appointment types specifically for Emily, and they're going to be used for different purposes. And so they each have a different price. So now let's go ahead and make the appointment types for Anthony. And then my team member, instead of routing them to Emily, we're going to route it to Anthony. And go ahead and save, do it once more. Alrighty, so we have one free consultation that assigns the appointments to any available team member. Then we have the two appointment types that are routed directly to Emily, and then we have the two that are routed directly to Anthony. So now that we have our appointment type set up, we want to do a few more steps here on the administrative side before we embed it onto the calendar or onto our pages. Let's walk through those really quick. Alrighty, so heading over to the settings tab, first thing you want to do is make sure to go over to the advanced scheduling options and toggle on this option that says give appointment types independent availability. A little bit of background: by default, the plugin expects a single admin or a single person to be conducting all the booking calendar appointments and taking care of all of those as well as managing them. Once you begin to introduce the team member feature, most likely you're not going to have all the appointments tied to a single person, and therefore you want to give each appointment type independent availability, make it unique from all the other calendars. Since now we're not relying on a single schedule, we're relying on the team member schedule to make sure that they're not being double booked or anything. So we want to go ahead and leave that on. And next thing we want to do is head over to the settings again, head over to the notifications. And so by default, we have 4 notifications, 2 for the admin, 2 for the customer, 1 set for when an appointment is booked, and another set for when an appointment is canceled. If you look closely, we don't have any for the team member, so we want to go ahead and make sure we add them in before we start booking any appointments. Usually I like to go into the admin emails, just slightly modify them. So let's go ahead and edit this one. So I'm going to edit the name as well, just to make sure I'm organized. And then here where it says send to, I'm going to add in the team member twig template. So now it's going to send to the admin email and then the team member email. Now that I have the team member set up along with the admin, you can always come in here and modify this to your liking. You can modify the trigger when this is sent out. You can modify which appointment types this is tied to here. You can modify the subject and the message. And then here at the very bottom, you can get a little preview just to get an idea of what is going to be sent out. As far as just setting this up for the team booking feature, we're all done. So I changed the name to also include the team label just so I can keep myself organized. And then I went ahead and added them to this send to fields. You can also CC and BCC them, so just keep that in mind. So at the very bottom, make sure to save, and then we'll go ahead and go into the other admin email when an appointment is canceled and make sure to add them there as well. Alrighty, so now that we have the notification set up, here we have the same emails, but now we're also sending them to the team member. Heading back to the settings tab, I want to make a slight change to the calendar events. Since we are using Google Calendar, I just want to add in a little bit more information about the team member. So heading over to the calendar event settings, and you'll see here we have 2 different events that we can modify. and this is going to let us change the event title, the event location, and the event details. This is the event that users actually can download right from the confirmation screen, whereas this shared event is the one that we send out automatically for the Google Calendar sync. And so I already have a line that I want to go ahead and add in. So let me go ahead and copy that. And here in the event details, I want to actually, right under where it says your details and it shows the customer information summary, I'm going to add in, if you have any questions, contact me at, and then team member email. So we want to make it sound like it's coming from the team member. And we also want to provide their email address here in case they do have any questions, they want to contact the team member directly. And so I'm going to go ahead and leave that one. And then I'm going to go into the one from the confirmation screen and do the same thing. Alrighty, so now that we've modified our 2 events, I'm going to go ahead and save those. And I think I'm about set. So now that I'm ready to embed them onto my calendar, I'm going to go back to the appointment types and just make a really quick mental note here. So first we have the free consultation, we have the 2 ones for Emily, and then we have the 2 calendars for Anthony. So going back to our labels, they actually are going to serve a purpose here with us. So we're going to embed these 2 for Anthony and these 2 for Emily using the label attribute with the shortcode, the SSA shortcode, just so anytime we add any more calendars for Emily, then we can easily have it update, and we can see that here in a second. So we have the free consultation. We actually won't use the label for this one. We'll just use the Elementor shortcode or the Elementor widget for this one. But going back to our pages, I'm on the contact page. I'm going to go ahead and select edit with Elementor. And scrolling down to the section I want to embed this on, book a time with us, I'm going to type into the Elementor search field. We're going to type in appointment, and we'll have schedule an appointment widget that we can easily drag and drop. And here where it says appointment type, instead of having them all listed out like we already do, we're going to select free consultation. And as you can see, it's been embedded. So I'm going to go ahead and click update. But I guess since we're already here and maybe there are users that are not using Elementor, actually I think I should go back and show you. So you select into the free consultation appointment type, scroll all the way to the very bottom. You can also just copy this single appointment type shortcode. As you can see here, it says type equals free consultation. So that's only going to show this particular calendar. And so if we head back to Elementor, and we can remove the widget. So in case you're using a website or a page builder where you're not using Elementor, you can also embed specific calendars, specific appointment types using the shortcode just like this, and clicking update. So now if we view our page, we should have the same exact result. Here we have our free consultation and we have our contact page all set up. And so you can flip through, see their schedule. And again, this is going to show the availability for both of our team members since they're both assigned to this free consultation calendar. Okay, so I guess we could book an appointment now that we're here, and we can check back in the dashboard just to see what that looks like. So let's say I wanted to book on Friday the 10th. And we have our consultation confirmation here. Here in our save to calendar, we can open that up really quick. And just to show you, it says if you have any questions, contact me at anthony@example.com. So in this case, it looks like Anthony was the one assigned to this, but let's go back to the appointments dashboard and see what that looks like. So here under appointments, we have Natalie's booking, and you can see free consultation with Anthony. So in this case, Anthony was assigned, but let's go back and book that same time in that same calendar, and you'll see that we should be assigned to Emily at that point. So February 10th at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So if we select schedule a new appointment, February 10th, 9 a.m., and it auto-populated my name, but let's go ahead and choose a different example. All right, so consultation confirmation. If we head back to the appointments page and refresh really quick, as you can see, this time it was assigned to Emily, and now both of them should be booked out for that time frame. So let's check our calendar once again just to show you how that looks like now. So February 10th, and that first time slot of the day at 9 a.m. is now removed. Now that both of my team members are occupied, we cannot book any more time slots. Alright, so heading over to our team page, we're going to now embed the calendars using a different shortcode, again a shortcode but a different one. So if we go ahead and select edit with Elementor, scroll down, so here we have meet with Emily, and I'm gonna go ahead and drag in the text editor, and I'm going to type in the shortcode. And instead of using the type shortcode that highlights a specific appointment type, I'm going to use the label attribute and set it to Emily. And when I close that and click update, we can see what that looks like. Alrighty, so now meet with Emily, and it's going to prompt you what type of appointment are you booking, and then we see here the 2 calendars that Emily is assigned to, just because we use that label to categorize them. So I don't like this white background, so I'm gonna go back to my appointment types and make sure to get rid of that. So styles, so I have my accent color set to the one on my from the website, and here where it says background color, instead of having it full white, I'm just gonna set it to fully transparent and save. Alrighty, so now when I refresh the page, I think that should look a little better. There we go. Perfect. So now I can book with Emily, and that will go directly to her. But let's go ahead and get this set up for Anthony as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that same exact shortcode and just tweak it once I embed it into Anthony's section. So again, adding a little text editor and embedding my shortcode, but instead of Emily, we want to route it to Anthony. And when I click update, we'll view the page once again. And now we have his calendars here as well. So just based off the labels that we assigned, we can continue to add more calendars without really having to mess with anything here on the front end. So just as an example, let's go to the appointment types and clone one of these for Anthony. So now we've added a brand new appointment type, and when we go to our front page for our team and refresh it, we should automatically have Anthony's new calendar in place. So yes, here we see that his new calendar is added automatically, and I don't have to really mess with anything at this point since I already have my codes set up and my labels set up. Now that we have our 2 calendars created, let's book appointments in each one. Just keep in mind that all of these are in test mode right now as far as Stripe goes, so I'm going to use some of the Stripe test keys to show you how this looks like. And once that goes through, we'll have our little confirmation. And then let's book another one with Anthony. So let's book this web design or web development kickoff. Alrighty, so now that we have our 2 appointments booked, let's head back to the dashboard for the appointments and refresh the page. Alrighty, so here you'll see we have our 2 appointments booked for the free consultation, and then we have our 2 appointments booked for the individual projects and with the individual team members. Here we have the one booked by Mary, and this one is assigned to Emily, and then we have this one for Lucy assigned to Anthony. Alrighty, so next thing I want to show you is how a team member will log in and manage these things themselves, as well as how they can connect to Google Calendar. Starting off with Emily, let's go back to WordPress dashboard. And just a quick note, I do like using the user switching plugin to easily switch between the different team members, especially when you're first setting it up, just to make sure everything is set up correctly and everything's working properly. So it's this one called user switching. Let me open the page so you can see it. It's a free plugin, and I just really like to use it, especially with the team booking feature. Anyway, so going back to our WordPress dashboard, now that I've showed you the user switching plugin, let's go to the users page. And starting with Emily, I'm going to use the switch to option to head over to her dashboard. So whenever she logs in, this is exactly what she's going to see. And if you look closely here, we have the upcoming appointments widget, and that is already showing the 2 appointments we booked with her for the free consultation and the one with Mary that we took payment for. Alrighty, so heading over to her appointments page, it's going to look a little different from the one the admin has. As you can see here, they have access to the appointments tab, and then they have access to this my profile tab. So here in the appointments tab, they'll see an overview of all the bookings assigned directly to them. So here we have the one with Tom, and they can click in and see all the appointment details like that. And they also have the same options as the admin to view past appointments, see the date range, filter. They can also search They can book an appointment from here as well. This is going to be for all the appointment types that you guys have set up, and then the different bookings as well. Next, if you go to my profile, they'll see their name at the very top, and here they have a few different tabs as well. So we have the contact tab. They can update their display name from here. They have the availability tab. They can see all the appointment types that they're assigned to. They can manage their blackout dates from here. So if we leave this page, they can edit their blackout dates. These are the ones I set earlier as an admin. And once that looks good, I can go back to my profile, go to the availability. I can switch the default working hours or to use this custom working hours for myself as a team member. Again, the admin had to give them this permission, so just keep that in mind. I can switch back and forth between those depending on what I want to do with my schedule. And then down here, you'll see we have connect to Google account. So once again, just to make sure we're on the same page, connecting to Google account from this team member level, from the team member profile, is only for checking conflicts on their calendars. By default, automatically, if you're already connected to Google Calendar as an admin from the plugin level, the team member is automatically going to receive invites. So they don't have to do any setup on their part to sync their appointments. This is simply just for checking their calendars for conflicts. Let's connect to Google. And so here at the very bottom, now that I've connected to my Google Calendar, I have the option to select the calendars that I want to check for conflicts. And again, this is only going to affect this particular team member's schedule and their availability. For example, as Emily, I can check my calendars here that I want to make sure I don't get any double bookings for, but this is not going to affect Antony's schedule or anything. This is just for Emily. And lastly, we have web meetings. And again, this is the one that the admin entered for them, but if they need to update it themselves, they can always come in here and change this. And so that is the team member profile. Now that if we go back, I'm going to use the switch to plugin to head back to the admin's page. And I think that is pretty much it. I hope this was helpful. Again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our support team. We're always happy to help, and please let us know if you have any suggestions for improvements. We are planning to release a few really big updates for the team member feature, including the ability to let users select the team member during the booking process. For example, if I open up the free consultation and if I have a preference to Antony or Emily, I can always select the team member from this booking flow. Right now we don't have the ability to do that, but it's right around the corner. We're almost there. Again, if you need any help, please head over to the support tab and use this contact support team button and let us know if you need any help. So I hope this was helpful, and yeah, thanks for watching.